The key part of community center is not center, it's community. So I think a philosophy that really drove the startup of Q Center was an understanding that we were going to have full community involvement. Because this was never just about, queers. This was very much about, does Portland want this center? Would it be viewed as sort of a cultural icon or something value added to Portland as a city? We wanted to make sure that we were involving older, gay and lesbian, trans people, and young people. So what would be the mechanism? What would be the reason that you would have youth and older people in a room together? Well, we each have a story, and we each have something we can share. And as a queer community, we actually have a lot of hurt and a lot of pain sometimes, but also a lot of very important stories that don't get heard because of the silencing that happens within a discriminated group or constituent. So we wanted to give voice to our community. We would design cultural programming, and that is another way in which Q Center is different from the majority of community centers around the country. Most of the community centers around the country opened up to deal with a problem, to offer a social service, all very important pieces of work. But a lot of that exists here. What doesn't exist is a cultural hub, or a place where we all come, convene, connect across a spectrum of interests. So that was a precursor to what is now programming at the center. In my mind, it was never about, where's this cinder block building? It was always recognizing that you have to trust the community, you have to ask the community, and you have to do what's asked of you in a way that can sustain over time. So even if Q Center were to move or relocate, it would still be vital and needed. So I think it's testament to a very engaged board, a very demanding and involved community, and a degree of clarity about who we were, that it was very much about cultural enterprise. It was very much about celebration. It was very much about volunteers. And that all still is true today.